Well, it's a lot quieter around here today. They don't have that that big music festival that went from 12 till 10 o'clock last night, making a lot of noise. Yeah, as I was saying, it's a lot quieter around here today because the music festival, which was going, went for 10 hours with two fireworks displays interspersed. Now that's over and done with, thank God, and I found out what was going on. I looked it up online and discovered that that was actually I think it's an annual event. It might be the second one or third one, I'm not sure, but that they've held in Cairns. Normally it's in the centre of Cairns, but this year they decided to put it just down the road from where I live. So I decided to get in contact with the local councillor for this area, for Parramatta Park. Well, it's more than Parramatta Park, it's also a bungalow and a couple other suburbs, just a budding central area. I think you might actually include the central area as well of Cairns, because Cairns is a very, very large council by, say, Victorian standards. In Queensland they have really big councils. You know, talking about is there possibilities of mitigating the sound or putting it in a different location or whatever. Just, you know, some options there as well. And to my absolute amazement, this is actually on a Sunday morning. I shot this off, probably at about, I don't know, 8:30 or something maybe. I got a phone call half hour later on my mobile, and it was him. It was actually the local councillor had actually rung me up straight after he'd read the email, and he had a chat with me for, I don't know, a quarter of an hour. So it was quite extraordinary. It was actually, you know, it was much better than I expected. I thought they'd just ignore me. But he said, look, his philosophy is if someone goes to the trouble of doing what I've done, he can generally magnify that by tenfold. For the people who just sit back and don't grumble but don't say anything. So by actually sending that email, I have at least represented myself and another 10 people by the things in his eyes. So that's good. I just discovered the reject shop closes at 4 o'clock on Sundays. I suppose not surprising, because the discount store, the Japanese one in Central, also closes early every day, I think. Maybe about 4 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon, but they have some pretty good specials there as well. I just want to get out of the house anyway. It's a nice enough day, but very busy for a Sunday. It's usually very dead around here. I guess that's one of the reasons that a lot of places are shut. Although down the Esplanade, I'm sure there's plenty of action happening there. But actually yesterday, it wasn't just the bands that were driving me crazy. That was the worst of it. But in the morning they had some guy with a leaf blower or a chainsaw to make a similar sound. You know, it's just a small petrol engine, pretty noisy, high revs, and yeah, that was pretty bad. And that was about 8 o'clock in the morning that started up. So I hardly got any quiet yesterday. Today's been bliss. It's been fantastic. Not one interruption. No kids, no bands, no compressors, no leaf blowers, and no chainsaws to be heard. It's been fantastic. And the neighbours across the way, there hasn't been any noisy neighbours over there, because I think they get a lot of rentals over there, a lot of holiday rentals. And since the school holidays have finished, I think now those people, they aren't renting those places out as much. I still can't figure out how they get access to it. It's got me totally beat. I was trying to find out where the access road was for the apartments, holiday apartments on the other side were, but I can't work it out. It's a total mystery to me. But as you can see when I'm walking around, there's stacks of people walking around today. But like I say, very impressed with that councillor being that conscientious. And he agreed with me about, I was talking about the urban renewal here, you know, that because we're in a tropical city, you know, we've got some fantastic flora to display, you know. It's just, and the city, it could be spruced up a bit. And he said, yeah, they put a lot of work into the central area, but he says he agrees with me that they need to expand it further out into areas like Bungalow and Parramatta Park, because, you know, I can understand the focus being the central one, but if they're working with businesses and what have you, who could also contribute to improving the streetscape, could make the place look a lot more attractive. And he agreed with my example of Singapore, because Singapore is a real showcase. Beautifully manicured gardens. It just looks superb. And very tropical, very lush and tropical. And this place could be exactly the same in that respect. Got the same climate. So, you know, it's good if it's a tourist location. It's dollars in the bank to make it look attractive and exotic. It makes sense. But he seemed to be fairly open to all that. Actually, the other amazing thing is there's quite a bit of transparency these days with councillors. I looked him up, and there's a PDF file attached for each councillor, and it gives you their financial holdings and their work affiliations and political affiliations, everything. This guy's a pretty hardcore Labor guy. He's been involved with unions, gets union funding and what have you. So, you know, ideologically he'd be pretty hardcore Labor, but, you know, I guess within that group there's a wide spectrum. I've got to say, for instance, that when I had to get some information about Centrelink from my local MP, I got much better response from Adam Bav's office, who's a Green in central Melbourne. His staff were excellent at dealing with the questions I had with Centrelink, because Centrelink are a nightmare to deal with generally. But his office was great. The women who were working on his behalf, they were brilliant. Whereas here, Warren Inch, I'm not so impressed, to be honest with you. They take a lot more time. Mind you, that could be a Queensland thing. Although, as I say, the local councillor got back to me straight after I sent the email through, so it's not always the way. He's not originally from Queensland though. He's a Victorian as well. So, you know, that's the thing, there's a lot of transplants up here. Like I say, it's a bit like Australia's LA, Cairns. You know, a lot of out-of-towners. So it makes it a bit different. But, yeah, local government, I wasn't looking forward to dealing with them, but at least, you know, he was doing his job so far. We'll see. Always put a caveat on it. But so far, it's exceeded my expectations, so that's good.